Good morning. I'm so glad to see you all here today. And I'd like to let you know, in case you hadn't heard yet, because we were having problems with our email system, and which is Ken. And but he was having trouble with Gmail, let me just say that. We weren't having trouble with him. God love him. And so we don't know if everyone got emails or not, but, or if you saw it on Facebook maybe, the name of the talk is Metaphysical Pre-Lent Rollout for Heart, Mind, and Spirit. Pre-Lent Rollout. Because Lent actually starts Wednesday. So, I'm going to move this around so I can do this. Yeah. There are popular notions about Lent, and I'd like to share some I came across while I was preparing for this talk. You may have heard this one before. Giving up Facebook for Lent has allowed me more time for my Pinterest addiction. Okay, or maybe you heard this one. We all have that one friend who we wish had given up Facebook status updates for Lent. So Lent, the idea to give up, to loose and let go of a thing or things not of our highest and best. That's the fasting part. And replace them with our highest and best. That's the feasting part. Now, in the handout that you got, when you take it home, and you can start looking at it anytime you want, but Lent starts Wednesday, there are 40 ideas in there, one for each day, or thereabouts, on pages 6 and 7 of the Unity 2019 Fasting and Feasting booklet. And again, if you want that in soft copy, see Ken Warner at the end of the service. This year, Lent goes for 40 days beginning Wednesday and ends on April 21st, it's Easter Sunday. I'd like to give you an example of the one of the ones I picked. I fast on worry, and I feast on divine order. That's a good one, huh? I'd like to give you a few things that I found out about unity and Lent on this book called Keep a True Lent by Charles Fillmore. And someone who wrote the foreword, her name is Georgiana. I'll tell you her last name later. And anyway, in here I learned that this notion, these are notions I'm talking about, the notion that Lent is chosen to coincide with the resurrection of Jesus for Easter. That Unity's notion is that Lent itself is an institution of the church that began this. But yet, I should say, we Unities honor the tradition and respect the tradition of Lent, and especially the underlying metaphysics of Lent. Also in this book, I read that the 40 days is very symbolic. You may have heard this before, but what I heard was that it's considered a strong foundation. So, number 4 is often identified with a good foundation. And it's often referred to in the Bible, you'll hear it many times, 40 days, 40 nights, 40 days and 40 nights of torrential rain with Noah. Moses, Elijah, and Jesus are examples of 40 days and 40 nights being referenced in there. And you'll probably see many more. And 40 days is a completed preparation for something to follow. Talk about your eager anticipation. If I'm giving something up, I can expect something really good to follow. And Lent, like the love of the Christ light within us at Christmas time, that really is good to do all year. This Lent, this idea of fasting and feasting and giving up and embracing, that's also a good thing for all year. I'm not seeing a lot of, okay, Tanya, that's all right. I hope to convince you by the time I'm done here. Fillmore wrote in this book, Lent is a season of spiritual growth. a time for progressive unfoldment. And how progressive to approach the season with a light and joyful heart, a sparkle in our eyes, and a ready smile. I like to look to the seasons. I correlate this to the seasons, as a farmer might, or a person who seeks and communes vibrationally with the divine of nature. We're moving from spring to winter. I'm doing this backwards. We're moving from winter to spring now. But if we back up to the broad view, and we'll recall last fall, last autumn, the time of harvest, when nature dropped her leaves and seeds, drained the color from and prepared for dormancy for many of her plants. She blew the leaves around, but also the seeds for later taking hold and germinating. Squirrels stockpiled and ate like little piggies. Bears fattened up for winter's hibernation. Well, some of us did too, right? We started out in Halloween, right? And let it rip. Not just candy and cookies, but also thoughts of having so much to do for the holidays that it weighed us down, and so on. Until the Unity Burning Bowl ceremony, or the New Year, when the world suddenly becomes exercise and diet mongers. Am I right? Like the winds of autumn and winter that blow through our town, the bare branches of trees, yellow grasses, fallow fields, lower water levels of the Rio Grande, these all affect our psyches, our spirits. And because divine spirit invites us, tugs at us, to go within, to get quiet, to meditate, listen, to prepare for the resurrections of our own springtime. Remember, because you've heard this before, many times probably, remember prayer and affirmations are us communicating with God, with the divine, intentionally communicating. Silence and meditation is us intentionally dismounting from the hamster wheel of our minds and getting quiet, so we can receive those divine whispers, ideas, visions, flat-out guidance, dramatic instructions, sometimes humorous life lessons. I offer this prose, this original prose. I call it, I thank winter and welcome spring. The cold and bare limbs of the trees wave in the chill wind as if whispering goodbye to winter. Stark fingers of branches jab at me, demanding, look, look inside. Take an honest view into the self. What must I see before I embrace the forthcoming of spring? What things shall I release so that I may behold the joyful bounty of this earthly life, to witness its beauty, its love expressed in vivid greens and rainbows of flowers? Does an errant thought hood my eyes? How I long to bathe in spring's splendor. What obstruction must I change or let go? What tiny pebble rides inside my shoe? What thought twinges within my belly? What hurt calls from my heart? Surely and gladly I shake out that pebble, cast out that thought, and forgive the hurt. I free myself to accept the full embrace of the divine presence on this beautiful earth. I open myself as a clear channel for this infinite love, to co-create and share the boundless spectrums of spring through gentle thoughts, kind words, and expressions of gratitude with my sisters, my brothers, with this world. I know the bare branches waving in this breeze of spring. Now I see their budding leaves, and I revel in the perfume of their blossoms. I thank winter and welcome spring. The spiritual fasting and feasting of Lent. It's fasting and feasting. I'm going to first address the fasting. This is where we turn, sometimes wrench, away from our worldly thoughts and move them to things divine, our thoughts to thoughts of God. We fast from negative thoughts, false, unworthy, mistaken, unnecessary, poverty-dwelling, inapplicable, and also negative words and actions. The Lent fast is not a show or for a show. It's not a fad. Everybody gives up chocolate, okay? That's common, you know. It's not a fad. It's something personal. It's not Twitter-worthy trend. It's something personal between ourselves and our higher power. Fasting from both the subtle and the in-our-face habits, addictions, and or blocks to our highest and best. Think were thoughts, words, and actions. The following things are examples only, and they may or not seem to you to be worthy of a potential letting go list. First is thoughts. Imbalanced skepticism, harsh self-judgment, over-eager fault-finding, even to make the positive change, because as we fault-find, that energy may lessen or negate the end game, the end goal. Metaphysical malpractice. And what I mean by that is something like this. You blame yourself. You're blaming yourself. How did I attract this? In the cases of things like natural disasters. So that's not what is intended behind the idea of what have I attracted to myself. This is different than taking responsibility in order to create change. I'm talking about overeager, fault-finding, or over-blaming. In the March issue of the Unity magazine, and by the way, the bookstore, I've asked the bookstore to start carrying some of these, so if you don't yourself subscribe, which you can, but if you want to, you can, in the future, we hope, be able to buy some in the bookstore. In this issue, Ben Jameson, who's a New Thought speaker, coach, and author, he writes about what I just talked about. He didn't know that, though. Our intention here is to notice, not judge. By noticing and lovingly accepting what we've noticed, we empower ourselves to change. And this also applies to harsh judgment of others. Sarcasm, negative inner self-talk, coveting another's cheese quesadilla. Why? Well, you could have ordered one, or I could have ordered one. But it tells a long-groomed attitude. So that's up to you. Words, let's go to words. We're letting go of fasting on these concepts, on these ideas perhaps. Cussing inanimate objects. I don't know if anyone heard me on Saturday because my word program was causing me fits and rearranging my outline numbers and letters willy-nilly, and I was not a happy camper. And I might have gotten a little, I don't know, but anyway. Or yelling at other vehicles in traffic. And I say vehicles because we would never yell personally at the drivers. Trash talking ourselves to ourselves or others. Now let's go to actions. Fasting on actions. These might be some potential fast lists. Excessive, like over the top. Input of media, and I'm talking TV, movies, radio, internet, news, and games. And then unhealthy input of these things, from mean words, mean actions, and meanness. Mean thoughts, words, and actions in any of those things. TV, movies, radio, internet, news, and games. It's easy to see, what did I miss? I need to watch it again. I need to see what's going on in the world. I need to see what's going to happen in the next hour with the weather. Unhealthy addictions, eating. I don't know about anybody else, but I know of self-confessed carb addicts who try to curb their carbs. There's drinking, drama, codependence, and the ilk. Just some ideas that you might consider. And I believe you're picking up what I'm putting down here. Again, getting quiet and or meditating readies us to receive God's communication to us. And we might be taken aback by what we learn, what we hear, what is identified to us when we are in the silence. My close peeps know how private I am. And they'll be surprised, as I am, with what I'm about to share. I knew Lent was coming, and I know what that means for unity. And I idly wondered, what would I let go of? Immediately, the divine whispered to me, be who you are. Again, this is a repeating message to me. Yeah, I thought to myself, that's a good idea. Yes, I must do that. I keep getting that message. And then, on Monday, I had a spiritual experience. I was reading an article in this magazine. It was about Dr. Wayne Dyer. All of you, anybody know who's, okay. And in that, as you know, Dr. Dyer passed away a couple of years ago, made his transition. And what the article was about, the family of Wayne Dyer, who had vetted and embraced a medium who they now believe has Wayne is speaking through. Now, many people came to them and saying that we are receiving messages from Wayne Dyer, and so they had an inundation of this. But most of them were common things were being said, or generalities. And when this young woman, very young, under 25, I believe, if I remember right, they vetted because she said they got the whole family together with her. The things that she said only he would know. And they came to believe her, that she was channeling Wayne Dyer. And I was like, wow, say what? Talking about a medium in a Unity magazine? I had to say I had overwhelming emotions about this. I mean, I did. I cried. I actually had to call Reverend David to talk to him about it. The strong and sure walls I built over my lifetime trembled and cracked. I could be who I am. I could let go of self-compartmenting myself, my life. And then I had the rest of the day, and then, I was rolling, along as usual. And then Friday came along, and I read in the Daily Word. Anybody read the first stories? In the beginning, there's always a story written by somebody. Well, this time it was written about this woman. Her name is Salome Rahim, and she experienced premonitions and her dreams. That's what the story was about. Talked about how she integrated all of who she was, personally and professionally, into her mind, body, spirit, social work approach. Am I getting the message? Am I the previously nearly closeted metaphysical minister on my way to being who I am? Let me say I am moving in the right direction, thanks in great part to Unity of Las Cruces, and I thank you very much. What might you hear in the silence? Will you be open to the synchronistic messages and events that come to you from the divine? This one I was trying to remember earlier. Unity author Georgiana Tree West. She wrote in the foreword of the Keep a True Lent. And it's applicable today as it was when she wrote it for the foreword in the publication of this book in 1953. One of the most valuable ways of observing the Lenten season, she said, is to fast from, loose and let go, her words, the belief that men or nations can stand in the way of God's good will for man. Now is the time to affirm the power of Christ's Spirit indwelling in all men everywhere and influencing their thoughts, words, and actions to work for the good of the whole. Ditto Georgiana. That's awesome. We fast and let go of our thoughts, words, and actions of impossibility and limitation And we affirm and pray confidently for this world, its countries, its peoples, its critters, its ecosystems, for Mother Earth. We feast in silent time and meditation to receive the divine guidance, to then follow up with our highest and best thoughts, words, and actions. And that brings us to the feast portion of my talk. We feast on positive, life-affirming, true, loving thoughts, words, and actions like these kinds. These might be ideas that we might want to put on our think this more list. So these are the thoughts. Kind, loving, gentle, positive. Gentle discernment of others. Magnanimous thinking, striving to think of the highest and best. And a positive attitude. Sometimes we need to change our attitude. For example, what if every day was happy day? Pick a day. Friday, first day of vacation, the weekend days, any day, every day. Don't we just love those Camel commercials, you know, the ones from the insurance? Here's my commercial script for positive attitude. You ready? Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Janie? Tammy? Steve? Kay? Guess what day it is? Ken? Ken, hey! What day is it, Ken? Listen, guess what day today is? Today is happy day. Every day is happy day. Unity, it is happy day. How's that for positive? So we want to feast more on our words. Now say this more list. How's that? We might want to add some of these to our say this more list. Positive words for others and ourselves. We're the cheerleader, like I've said before, the pep squad and our booster club, for us and others. Friendly and kind words for others and their vehicles. Help desk folks. Takers of satisfaction surveys, regardless of their political, ethnic, cultural, or any other aspect, whether they're human or Klingon, and we've all met a few of those, haven't we? Let's be honest about it. Critters, plants, and minerals. Advocating the highest and best through our words and our worlds. We say yes to life. And feasting on actions. Magnanimous gestures. Expand. Attend Unity of Lust Cruces services more. Give more. Create more time, more quiet time. And what do we want to learn from this year's season of Lent? Now that's something that you want to ask while in your quiet time. What do I want to know? What must I learn? But here are some concepts or ideas. Compassion. We're human, we're not perfect, and we can forget and stumble. Be kind to self. You only have one, and it's your connection to the highest and best, divine. Like the 12-step programs remind us, it's progress, not perfection. There is only one presence and one power active as the universe and as my life. God, the good omnipotence. God is alive and active in everyone, every what, every when, everywhere, every why, and every how, including us. We can use that power to create the life we really want. And I'd like to leave you with an affirmation before we begin our meditation. I honor the fast and feast of Lent. I let go of that which blocks my highest and best and loose myself to accept divine good in my life. So it is. Taking a deep breath. Allow the thoughts of the day to slip away. allow the healing, loving energy of God to surround us and filling us, touching every cell, tissue, organ, everything, from the tips of our toes to the top of our heads. As I release and let go the tension and the concerns, I feel the muscles and the tendons and the bones in my feet relax and warm. And I feel this energy as I follow it up my calves and my shins and into my knees, where I recognize that I'm flexible in my life, and all the way up into my hips, where I recognize that I move forward with my day and my life with joy, and I'm flexible in my hips. And this energy that pulls now and grows, the light of love and healing energy at the base of my spine, the base of our spines, moving around to the lower abdomen, up our spines and into the upper abdomen. Taking another deep breath as we feel this healing, loving energy. We take in the deep breath and we let go of all that which does not belong to us, and we feel this love take its place in growing compassion, growing and growing in our heart until it fills our entire body. You can feel it and I can feel it. We feel it all through our body. Into our shoulders, which now relax. They relax and feel the ocean of love and healing energy, the waves, massaging the muscles as we let go of those responsibilities and things that do not belong to us, so that only the highest and best is manifest. And we feel that relaxing, we feel that relief, and we share it as it moves around into our throats, our necks, our jaws, our faces, and our scalps, the back of our head, the tops of our heads. And the energy just keeps growing and touches the person next to us and the person next to them, filling this entire space, filling this building, and moving out into the world, touching every aspect of the world. Every aspect. No need, no hurt, not a single one is left untouched by the healing, loving energy of God. And as we let go of those things in our thoughts, our words, and our actions, we know how much more we influence and channel the love of God in our world, which impacts this entire world. And we see it moving around the globe, this beautiful, bright light of love. And we recognize this light within us, here, in this building, in this sanctuary, where we stand or sit. And we are grateful. Thank you, Mother, Father, God. Amen, and so it is.